Drew, welcome to the Retail Pilot. It is great to have you.
Great to be here. Great to see you, and really appreciate it. Thanks, Ken.
I think we met a year ago in Chicago. I sat through a panel and got to hear a bit of your story. Fascinating. Take us through your path to becoming an entrepreneur, a business builder, and a retailer.
You know what? The path is getting longer and longer as I go here, but in terms of becoming an entrepreneur, it was really out of necessity. I was a basketball player in university, and I'd lost my scholarship, but still wanted to play and needed to pay for school. And so I built my first business in university over several years, played ball, got my degree, and then was kind of burnt out. So I sold that business, went overseas, played overseas. And then when I got back, I was just fascinated by the internet and technology and what could be. And so built a company that we ended up selling to DoubleClick, moved to New York, and then kind of became an employee, right? I was head of retail at DoubleClick for many years. And of course, DoubleClick sold to Google. And after that, I remember, talking to my wife and just saying, hey, I want to move back to Canada. Want to invest in entrepreneurs, want to invest in myself and raise our kids Canadian. And so we did that. And, that's 12 years ago. And we've been building businesses ever since. Indochino is obviously extremely special,
Is that your day job? Would you say Indochino you would define as your day job? Because you're into a lot of shit. I mean, I read your bio and I'm exhausted, but yeah. That's a full-time day job for you, right?
That's a full-time 80 hours a week day job. I mean, we built this company from the ground up and, gone from 0 to now 83 showrooms across North America. 80% of our revenue is in the US. And, I think the key for us at Indochino is, 8 years ago, we kind of realized that if we wanted to become a global brand, if we really wanted to, change the way a generation of men, suited up and now women, we needed a retail strategy. And, it wasn't easy at first, right? Trying to transition from an online only brand to what's commonly known as an omni-channel brand, but we've done that. We've done it at scale. We've done it in a really amazing way, profitable last year, as well as year to date.
Yeah, it's being profitable is sort of a unique statement, but I look at your model and I could wrap my head around how that's possible, because you've really reinvented not only the supply chain, but you've kind of reinvented how to do business in the most efficient way possible, starting with your partnership and ownership in terms of the factory's ownership, your partnership and the factory's ownership in Indochino. How did that unravel or unwrap, I should say?
Yeah, or come to be. I mean, for us, we understood that no matter, how well we marketed the company, no matter how amazing our product was, or how incredible the showroom experience would become, unless we figured out our supply chain at scale, we would have a very hard time scaling. And so, we really zoned in there in 2015. I kind of remember going over to China.
Drew, I want to back up, because before we even get into this, I want to get I should have asked you this, just a better description of what Indochino is. I know so we'd be coming off of, I'm going to go back to where you just ended with the number of stores and size, and I'm just going to roll into, Drew, give us a better description of who Indochino, what you are. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Drew, you're a profitable company, over 83 showrooms. Give us a better or more in-depth description of what or who Indochino is as a retailer, as a brand.
Yeah, I mean, Indochino has become the largest custom apparel brand in the world. What was that?
That's what I was waiting for. Hold on.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry. Stop.
It's all good.
All right. Jeez, nothing's easy.
All good, man.
Okay, we'll start over. So, Drew, give us a little bit more color around Indochino as a retailer and brand for those who aren't familiar with Indochino.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. We are and have become the largest custom apparel brand in the world. So what does that mean? Everything we sell to consumers and every experience we deliver for them is an opportunity for them to create a one-of-a-kind garment. The majority of our garments are suits. Well, that's what we've become world renowned for, and produced and shipped well over 1 million one-of-a-kind suits. But we also sell outerwear, casual, and just recently launched a full line of women's made to measure. And so our thesis was many years ago, almost a decade ago, that men and now women would want a one-of-a-kind garment, something custom, something that they can really make their own. And that's proven true. And customers, I would say almost a generation of customers have transitioned from ready to wear to now made to measure. And that's our focus.
I noticed walking by your showroom on Madison Avenue, the women's product. It looked great, a lot of color, a lot of pop in the window, very exciting, a good way to show change in the stores. As the men, our group, our clan is not quite as creative or colorful as our counterparts. So with that, you also went through a very interesting time during the pandemic. And I think it kind of proved why your formula has been so successful, partnering with a factory. Talk to us a little bit more about your approach to the supply chain and what really makes Indochino so unique.
Well, when you think about what we do on a yearly basis, we're producing hundreds of thousands of one-of-a-kind garments. So we're not producing 30,000 sweaters, red sweaters, and 40,000 black leather jackets. I mean, every garment we make is one of a kind, designed by the customer, and then ultimately delivered to their door. And so, doing that on a one store basis, or even maybe on an online only basis, is difficult. Doing it at the scale we do it at, I mean, we've been a nine-figure revenue company since 2018. So it's a very big company. Doing it at scale is hard. And, in this business, if you don't get the fit right, you've kind of let the customer down. And so we really, back in 2015, our operations, supply chain operations were in China. And we had distributed manufacturing, and we just said, hey, that's not going to work. Not if we want to be, a multi-billion-dollar company. And so we endeavored to find, the perfect partner from a supply chain standpoint. And we did that. Diane Group has been our partner now almost for 8 years. And, they're a part owner in the company. We sold 19% of the business for $30 million US back in 2016 to them. And they've been producing our garments ever since.
And just to give us a sense of scale, how many units a day or how many suits a week are they producing?
Thousands of units per day. So, not just suiting, right? We now, as I mentioned, have, a wide variety of categories. So outerwear, shirting is a very big category. We do hundreds of thousands of units in shirting, and casual wear, which came about, during the pandemic. So it's a busy team over there. We've got, a head office over there. We've got over 3,000 people working on the business every day, just outside of Dalian, China. And, they're a big part of the family.
And the other key piece of the equation you have, I believe you have a great deal with DHL. Tell us about how that works and the time it takes from when I order it in the showroom or online to I get the product.
Yeah, so it's a great question, Ken, because when you think about our vision and what we endeavored to accomplish, we really wanted to introduce made to measure, bespoke to the masses, right? It's been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
but we wanted to make it available for everyone. And so, and create an incredible alternative to off the rack. And so to do that, 5, 6 weeks, 7-week deliveries just doesn't work, right? If you really wanted to compete, or if we really wanted to compete with ready to wear, we needed to have our delivery down to 3 weeks, down to 2 weeks, and eventually, in under a week. And that's the journey we're on. And so we've had some amazing supply chain partners through the years, but DHL's really special. And 3-4 years ago, the CEO and I looked at each other and said, okay, how do we do this together long term, and really change the industry, to so to speak, in terms of what you do. And so they've just been an incredible partner. They have a very large hub very close to our factory, which makes it even more efficient. And we ship direct to consumer, so it's every garment we make goes 1-to-1 to the consumer. It's a ton of work, right? And so without them, we wouldn't be who we are. And then the other thing we had the foresight on, which I say foresight, but I would say also a bit of luck. Prior to the pandemic, we locked in our rates. So we did a very long-term contract with DHL, committed to them, they committed to us. And so through all these supply chain issues of the past few years, we didn't have supply chain issues outside of a couple little hiccups. And then, our pricing stayed normalized through the pandemic. So it's a pretty great partner.
And you deliver a suit. I mean, the average retails around $450 for a men's suit.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
amazing. That it's thinking about the work that goes into it, the hands that are touching it, the flights that carry it. That seems like an amazing value. How do you think, or how do you differentiate Indochino from other made-to-measure companies that are out there? I mean, there's Suit Supply, there's My Suit, there's Not Standard, and some new entries into the business as well. What do you think distinguishes Indochino?
Those are all really great companies, but all very different. Suit Supply, as an example, I think is a market leader in their own right, but they're primarily off the rack, right? They have an incredible visual design of their stores and layout, and of course they do offer made to measure, but it's at a much higher price point. Not Standard, same thing, on a smaller scale, incredible suit, but again, $1,500 versus our $450. And so our unique differentiation is pretty simple, right? It's the combination of 3 things, and these 3 things aren't by accident. It's what we've built the business around. The first is, we wanted to sell an experience versus a product. And so again, when the management team and I sort of looked at each other in 2015, we said, look, we've got to make our experience really compelling. Yes, we're selling a product, but we're actually selling an experience. And so the showroom experience, delivers something really, really fun for the consumer. You set an appointment, you come in, you work with a style guide, and an hour later, you've created a one-of-a-kind garment. And so that experience is part of the equation. The second part of the equation is high quality. You mentioned our price point. We probably could price the garment at $750 or $800, given the fabrics, given the quality, but we've chosen not to because we believe affordability is important, and that's the third leg of the stool. And so it's the combination of experience, quality, and affordability that we feel makes us extremely unique. Other businesses have 1 or 2 of those components, but I don't believe there's any competitor that has all 3.
Has business continued to be robust following the pandemic? I mean, with guys potentially going back to work, though that remains to be seen. Weddings now happening when they weren't during the pandemic. Are you seeing this nice continuation of growth around the men's suiting business, and obviously the casual apparel that you're offering, and women's too? What's happening with the business today?
I've always got this expression with my sons. They're both athletes, and I say to them, steel sharpens steel, right? And I got that tested on myself when the pandemic hit, right? Because that was I I think, a shock to everyone's system, especially in retail. But that steel of the pandemic did sharpen our steel. We've become a better company. We've become a more efficient company. We've become a more profitable company and a much bigger company. And so, one of the things we did, Ken, which sounds a little bit crazy, but during the pandemic, we launched over 30 retail locations in the heart of the pandemic, because we knew coming out of the pandemic that there would be pent-up demand. More people than ever would, be getting into that chapel to get married. More people than ever would want to go to graduation, want to go on that date, and want to get, dressed back up for work. And that's proven true. We had an incredible 22, our best year ever at, over 40% growth for the year, profitable. Q1 was a record quarter in the history of the company. Again, profitable with seven-figure EBITDA and really, really strong double-digit growth. And so, we're gonna keep going, because as you know, Ken, in retail, you kind of wake up every day and the till's at zero, right? And so you gotta continue to build, continue to innovate, continue to keep the customer front and center.
I thought one of the fascinating statistics that you shared with me a year ago was your return rate and how low that is. And I'm sure that only adds to the profitability. I mean, most online retailers or brands that are online as the majority of their business, average anywhere from 25 to 35% returns. Your rate is below 5%.
Our return rate's below 1%.
That's below 5%. Don't me on my numbers, Drew. I'm on this.
Yeah, you're on it. But you hit the nail on the head. I mean, when we envisioned what we would do with Indochino, one of the things we're most excited about is the fact that we were going to be creating a business that would have such low return rates. And as returns have a massive impact on the P&L, massive impact on the balance sheet, and potentially cash flow. And so we don't have that as part of our business. Every garment we make goes to that customer, and if they need alterations, we've got in-house tailors or tailors at Nordstrom to help them, make it perfect.
Glad you brought up Nordstrom, because I wanted to talk a little bit more about expansion plans. I know you've partnered with Nordstrom. Want to hear about that, and also global, how you go global. Start with Nordstrom.
Nordstrom's been an incredible partner for us. It's one of those calls during the pandemic that I'll never forget. Kind of in the midst of, that first 2 weeks, we were supposed to launch, first week in April of 2020, our initial 8 locations with Nordstrom. Had just signed the deal months prior, and the CMO and I, kind of had this call, and we were laughing. We were like, okay, I guess we're not launching, right? Like, I guess we're not going to be doing this. And so that turned into a delay of approximately 12 months. And, 12 months later, we were launching our first locations inside Nordstrom. We now have 28 locations across the US. Alterations for our customers, not just Nordstrom Indochino customers, but all Indochino customers are free. And they've just been an amazing partner. Last year, Nordstrom was approximately 11% of our business, 11 to 12%. This year it'll be a little bit bigger, and we've got some interesting opportunities with them to expand. And we and so we will. I think the interesting thing with Nordstrom is, they really, really love our model, right? The fact that we don't have inventory, and the fact that we have this unique combination of differentiators that no one else has in the industry. And I think, as Nordstrom has expressed to us, they believe made to measure and custom product, not just apparel, is a big part of the future of retail. And, we agree.
And with your model, the way you present Indochino, how much space do you require in a Nordstrom store?
Yeah, so our footprint in Nordstrom ranges from around 150 square feet up to 400 square feet. Again, no inventory, right? Which allows us to kind of get away with that approach. our showrooms, our largest flagship is 4,500 square feet with a very large sort of wedding lounge within it. We average about 1,500 square feet on our flagship showrooms, which, we've got 55 of them across the US and Canada. But the Nordstrom ones are much smaller, but very efficient, almost profitable instantly.
I would guess that is probably the payback is 1 week, if
Yeah.
if that long. That's amazing. So where do you go internationally?
Yeah.
Who's Nordstrom's in Europe? Is there business in the Middle East? Do you launch in Japan?
Yeah, there's so much opportunity in this category, as we look out the next 10 years, and it has me really excited. I think, prior to the pandemic, we had these sort of big plans internationally. We were looking at Australia, Japan, the UK, and some other countries. But we've pulled back a little bit, and we've said, look, let's make sure we're delivering as high a quality a business as we can here in the US and Canada. Let's really be the market leader, and I feel like we are, but let's continue that push, and then let's look internationally. And so we've got an order of operations as it goes to international. Our supply chain is set up to launch instantly into any country. I think Japan is an amazing market. It's one of the reasons we partnered and had Mitsui invest in the business. They're a great partner and would be a great partner to go into Japan with. We've got some interesting opportunities in Australia and the UK. Really intrigues me. I don't think we go into any country alone. I think we do it with a partner. And I can't wait till that day. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think there'd be a lot of opportunity, as you mentioned, UK, whether it's an M&S or John Lewis, a lot of opportunity there.
A lot of opportunity.
Marketing. You are a big marketing guy. I mean, I follow you on LinkedIn. I see what you're doing, but a big focus on professional athletes to really move the brand forward. Why pro ball players?
The thing that has always, as being an athlete, the thing that you admire most about athletes, or at least I do, is just how hard they work, and that they follow a dream, and they make a plan to follow that dream, and they go all the way. And so to me, an athlete is one of the most unique and incredible human beings in our society because of those components. And so to align ourselves with hardworking, big dreaming, high performance people is an honor. And I think, they represent our brand and what we're trying to do as a company. And so we've been doing this for many years, whether it's partnering with the Yankees or the Red Sox or the LA Rams, the Phoenix Suns, aligning ourselves with incredible brands, we feel is an honor, but also an opportunity, for people to see us with prestigious brands side by side. And athletes, like I said, they represent all that is good at the core, and they love suiting, and so that makes it a little easier, right? This upcoming NBA draft, which is a couple weeks away, we've got 4 in the top 10 wearing Indochino. We've got almost a dozen in the first round wearing Indochino, and that's dominant, right? Usually you have, anywhere from 10 or 12 brands representing the first round. There'll be us and maybe a couple others. And that sits behind 2019. I believe we had 2/3 of the NBA draft wearing Indochino.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just a great opportunity to get the brand out there.
I think also it shows the ability to dress an athlete where they're 10-inch drop or 11-inch drop, whatever it is, not the easiest fit out there. Certainly something you'll never find in a store.
For sure. That's a great point, Ken, too. Like it's a great fit. No pun intended for us, because whether it's a 7-foot basketball player or, a hockey player that just has huge thighs and can't fit into off the rack suits or pants, we're able to do that for them. And that's, so it's a good fit between us.
Are you working with stretch fabrics? Is that a part of your offer?
We are, but not in the sense of, technical wear, technical fabric. We've thought about, some of the opportunities to make our suiting more casual in terms of the fabrics that we offer, but we haven't gone there yet. We haven't gone there yet.
Got it. Technology, that certainly
Yeah.
comes into play with the company. What technology do you see helping to drive the next 2 to 3 years? A lot happening out there in the areas of marketing, in stores, live stream, and now all the talk around AI, where it's like, you've got to tell me something you're doing with AI, or you've got to shut the brand. So where is technology on your roadmap, and what do you see leading the way for Indochino over the next 36 months?
Yeah, so I mean, we are a technology company, as crazy as that might sound, and I often refer to us as a platform because whether it's men's suiting now, women's suiting, casual, outerwear, we built this technology infrastructure to be able to customize one-of-a-kind garments at scale, almost in any apparel category. And so we've invested heavily in technology last decade. We continue to. A lot of our in-store experience is custom, in terms of the technology. Our retail app is one of a kind and something that gets updated every 2 weeks. I would say that the focus for us from a technology standpoint and investment standpoint would be all around the fit. We're currently operate at around 88% out of the box rate with a perfect fit. Meaning, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 12% need alterations. I'd like to see that come down, even though alterations are actually a good thing in our business based on data, because it allows us to connect with the consumer and they actually come back more often if they have an alteration, just on an aggregate basis. But I think there's opportunities for us to get that fit even better. And we've got some interesting things in the works on that.
I noticed on your site the fit's still being done by tape measure, kind of like the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
Yet there's a fair amount of technology out there that, whether it's using LiDAR or a camera, to actually take your measurement points.
Yeah.
Is that something that's on the roadmap? Is that something that you're looking to change?
We've been looking at that for years, in terms of what do we call like a visual fit. Or a visual measurement. My thought around that is that opportunity to have what we call a try-on. You described a try-on program. That's again an opportunity to deliver a unique experience and differentiate. So right now, you go and get a suit at XYZ store. You walk in, maybe somebody helps you, maybe they don't. You pull it off the rack, maybe you try it on, maybe you don't. Whatever you do, you check out, you go home. That's not our experience. Our experience is engaging. You're spending an hour, you're building a garment, and we don't want to lose that connectivity with the customer. And so we'll test some things around visual measurement, but I think a big part of our success is that interaction we have between the style guide, and the consumer. And I don't want to lose that personal touch. That
said, how much of your business today is coming from online versus your showrooms?
Yeah, so we have about 70 to 73% is retail now. So, I mean, it's a big number, right? So our online business is the biggest in the world as it relates to made to measure. But of course, as we've gone from 0 to 83 showrooms these last 8 years, retail's become a big part of that. I kind of look at us as tri-channel now, though. Our shop and shop model is different than our showroom model, and our showroom model obviously is different than our online model. And so when I look at growth opportunities, there's still some growth in our flagship approach. From a showroom perspective, there's a lot of growth on the shop and shop side, not only in North America, but globally. And then our online business is a global business. We delivered to 52 countries last year.
Awesome. Outside of your day job, you have an investment vehicle, drewgreen.ca. What are you typically investing in, and which investment are you most excited about?
You know, that was set up, like I said, when I came back to Canada, I had this, I wanted to do three things. I wanted to raise my boys Canadian. I wanted to invest in myself and get back to building businesses. And then the third thing was I wanted to invest in and mentor entrepreneurs in Canada. It's different in Canada than it is in the US. Access to capital, access to mentors, and many more items. And so, we've had a really amazing 12 years. We've invested in over 50 businesses, including some of those are funds that we partnered with. And it's really across the board, Ken. Everything from real estate to ed tech to AI. We've invested in AI for many years, actually, not just this current wave. E-commerce, retail, you name it, consumer products, all the way through. For me, it's all about people. You ask sort of what are we looking to invest in, or what do we look at? For me, it's really about the people that we're going to work with, or that we're investing behind, more than, or as much as, the category they're in, the technology they built, or the product that they have. It's really that, jockey and that entrepreneur that we're getting behind. And we work with some incredible entrepreneurs. I don't have a favorite. I think my wife probably would be my favorite. She runs our real estate business, which, we've grown from the ground up for almost 25 years now. So, I'm constantly investing in her.
Great answer.
Yeah.
All right. We'll conclude the podcast with rapid fire. And
Okay.
coming off of that great answer, you just need about 5 or 6 more and we're done. So I'll start with the first question. Favorite sport and or team?
Ooh. Yankees baseball.
I'm shocked it's not basketball. Okay.
I
I'm not
love
supposed to
basketball.
comment. I'm not supposed to comment on this, but with you being a baller, I thought for sure it's basketball. Okay. Your number one stream show?
Oh my gosh. Peaky Blinders.
Did you watch it without subtitles?
Of course, I'm Irish. Come on.
Jesus. I loved it, but I needed the subtitles. Okay. Top app?
Oh, top app. I would just say Uber.
Favorite vacation spot?
Hawaii.
If you could select another company to run, what would it be?
Wow. Amazon.
And who would you most like to meet?
I'd love to go golfing with Michael Jordan.
And with that, we will land this flight of the Retail Pilot. Drew, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me today.
All right. Great to see you, Ken. You take care.
You too. Emily.